Welcome to our cinematic deep dive, where we peel back the layers of unforgettable films to discover the stories they tell and the stories behind their creation. Today, we journey into the grim, prophetic, and profoundly moving world of a modern masterpiece, Alfonso Cuarón's 2006 dystopian thriller Children of Men. Ranked among the most vital films of the 21st century and a standout within the Internet Movie Database's top 5,000, this is a film that doesn't just entertain, it haunts you, it challenges you, and it stays with you long after the credits roll. Whether you're revisiting this cinematic landmark or experiencing it for the first time, prepare to explore the harrowing intricacies of its plot, the bruised humanity of its characters, and the astonishing stories that brought this vision to life. And be sure to stay with us until the very end, because we'll want to know what part of this journey resonated with you the most. Our story begins in the year 2027. But this is not a future of flying cars or gleaming utopias. This is a future suffocating under a blanket of gray despair. Humanity has been afflicted by a silent, inexplicable plague, global infertility. For 18 long years, not a single child has been born. The sound of a baby's cry is a forgotten memory, a ghost of a bygone era. Without a new generation, the very concept of a future has died, and with it, hope itself. The world has fractured, governments have disintegrated into dust, and societies have devolved into tribalism and violence. Amidst this global collapse, the United Kingdom stands as one of the last bastions of order, but it is an order maintained by the iron fist of a brutal, authoritarian regime. The film plunges us headfirst into a world that is both disturbingly alien and chillingly familiar. The streets of London are a chaotic tapestry of military patrols, caged refugees, and constant surveillance. These refugees, or fugees as they are derogatorily called, flee their war-torn, collapsed nations, only to be rounded up, detained in squalid camps, and treated with utter contempt. The atmosphere is thick with paranoia and grief. The infrastructure is crumbling, the skies are perpetually overcast, and a profound sense of exhaustion permeates every single frame. Yet it is in this abyss of hopelessness that a single, impossible flicker of light emerges, a secret that has the power to either save humanity or tear what's left of it completely apart. This grounded, terrifyingly plausible world-building is what immediately sets Children of Men apart, rooting its speculative fiction in a deep, unsettling realism. Now let's follow the thread of the narrative. Our reluctant guide through this decaying world is Theo Faron, brought to life with a weary soulfulness by Clive Owen. Theo is a man hollowed out by personal tragedy and societal collapse. A former activist whose fire has long since been extinguished, he now drifts through life as a cynical bureaucrat, numbing himself with alcohol and detachment. His daily routine is a portrait of apathy. But his carefully constructed shell is shattered when he is abducted and brought before his estranged ex-wife, Julian Taylor, played with fierce conviction by Julianne Moore. Julian is now a leader of the Fishes, a militant activist group fighting for the rights of immigrants. Julian presents Theo with a proposition he can't easily refuse. Use his government connections to secure transit papers for a young woman, a refugee named Key. The pay is substantial, and for a man with nothing to believe in, money is a powerful motivator. Theo reluctantly agrees, viewing it as a simple, transactional task. But what begins as a favor quickly descends into a nightmare. During their journey, their car is ambushed in a shocking, brutally realistic attack, and Julian is killed. In the chaos that follows, Theo is thrust into the heart of the Fishes operation, where he discovers the world-altering secret Julian died to protect, Against all odds, the young refugee Key is 8 months pregnant. In a world that has forgotten what a baby looks like, Key's pregnancy is not just a miracle, it's a political atom bomb. She is the single most valuable and most vulnerable person on the planet. Her unborn child represents the potential rebirth of the entire human race. Suddenly, everyone wants a piece of this miracle. The government would exploit her as a tool of state propaganda. The fishes see her as a symbol to ignite a violent revolution. Theo, stripped of his cynicism by the sheer gravity of the situation, realizes he is the only one who can be trusted to protect her. Driven by a purpose he thought he'd lost forever, he must guide Key through a treacherous landscape of betrayal and violence, his only goal to reach a near-mythical organization known as the Human Project, a rumored group of scientists working in seclusion to save humanity. Their perilous journey is the narrative spine of the film, a relentless odyssey of survival that poses profound questions about faith, sacrifice, and what it truly means to be human. The power of this story is carried by its unforgettable characters, so let's take a closer look at the souls populating this broken world. At the very center is Theo Faron. When we meet him, he is the embodiment of despair. The loss of his own son years ago, coupled with the slow death of the world, has left him an empty vessel. He is a ghost walking through his own life. But Key's impossible pregnancy forces him to confront his own humanity. His journey is not just a physical one across a war-torn country, but a spiritual one, from the depths of nihilism back toward the light of hope and responsibility. Theo's gradual transformation from a passive observer into a selfless protector is the beating, emotional heart of the entire film. Then there is Key, played with incredible strength and vulnerability by a then-unknown Claire Hope Ashaiti. Key is not just a symbol, she is a vibrant, defiant young woman thrust into an unimaginable position. She carries the weight of the world's future in her womb, yet she never loses her sharp wit or her fierce will to survive. She is often scared, but never broken. Key represents hope not as an abstract concept, but as a living, breathing, and often laughing reality, a force of nature in a world that has become sterile and gray. Julian Taylor, though her screen time is brief, casts a long shadow over the film. She is the spark that lights the fuse. A woman who never gave up the fight, her unwavering belief in a just cause serves as a stark contrast to Theo's initial apathy and ultimately becomes the catalyst for his redemption. And we cannot forget Jasper Palmer, portrayed with immense warmth and humor by the legendary Michael Caine. Jasper is Theo's old friend, a former political cartoonist living in a hidden cottage in the woods with his catatonic wife. His home is a sanctuary of art, music, and contraband cannabis, a tiny, fragile pocket of sanity in a world gone mad. Jasper provides not only crucial aid, but also the film's moral compass, reminding us that even at the end of the world, friendship, laughter, and decency still matter. Beyond them, we have characters like Luke, a high-ranking member of the Fishes, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, whose revolutionary zeal masks a dangerous ambition, and Miriam, a former midwife who becomes a fierce maternal protector for Key. Each character is a complex study in human response to crisis, adding rich, conflicting layers to the film's exploration of morality and survival. Now, as promised, let's uncover 5 fascinating facts that reveal the incredible artistry and dedication that went into the making of Children of Men. Fact 1. The revolutionary single-take sequences. One of the most celebrated aspects of the film is its pioneering use of long, uninterrupted shots, or long takes. Director Alfonso Cuarón and cinematographer Emmanuel Lubezki wanted to immerse the audience completely, to make them feel like they were right there in the car, on the street, in the battle.
The famous car ambush scene, a breathtaking sequence lasting over 4 minutes, was filmed using a specially designed vehicle with a camera rig mounted on top that could move 360 degrees, dipping in and out of the car through a modified roof. These sequences weren't just a technical gimmick. They create an almost unbearable tension and an unparalleled sense of realism, forcing the viewer to experience the chaos in real time with no cuts to offer escape. Fact 2. The chilling, real-world inspirations. The dystopian world of Children of Men was not conjured from thin air. Cuarón and his team meticulously researched real-world events to build their vision of the future. The visual language of the film is heavily inspired by news footage and photojournalism from global conflict zones. The design of the Bexhill refugee camp, for example, deliberately evokes images from Abu Ghraib prison and Guantanamo Bay. The film's themes of anti-immigration sentiment, government overreach, and environmental decay were direct commentaries on anxieties of the early 2000s, making the film feel less like science fiction and more like a terrifyingly prescient documentary of a future that is still knocking at our door. Fact 3. The power of collaborative improvisation. Cuarón fostered a highly collaborative environment on set, encouraging his actors to improvise and help shape their characters. The most famous example is Michael Caine's Jasper.
Caine based his entire performance, from his accent to his mannerisms, on his old friend John Lennon. He imagined what Lennon would be like as an older man at the end of the world, still witty, still defiant, still full of love. This improvisational spirit breathes an incredible authenticity into the performances, making the characters feel less like scripted figures and more like deeply real, flawed, and resilient human beings. Fact 4. The miracle of the birth scene. The climactic scene in which Key gives birth in a desolate room during a raging battle was a masterpiece of technical and emotional filmmaking. The newborn baby was not real, but a complex animatronic puppet with added digital enhancements. Its movements, its cries, its very presence were so lifelike that it created a palpable sense of awe on set. The scene required excruciatingly precise coordination between the actors, the puppeteers, and the camera crew to capture the raw, messy, and sacred reality of childbirth, resulting in one of the most powerful and moving sequences in modern cinema. Fact 5. A legacy beyond the box office. Upon its release, Children of Men was not a commercial blockbuster. It was a modest success at best. However, it received near-universal critical acclaim, earning 3 Academy Award nominations for Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Cinematography, and Best Film Editing. In the years since, its stature has only grown. It has become a beloved cult classic and is now widely regarded as one of the most important films of its generation. Its gritty, realistic aesthetic and immersive long-take style have directly influenced countless other films, television shows, and even video games, most notably the acclaimed series The Last of Us, solidifying its legacy as a true game-changer in the landscape of science fiction. Beyond the thrilling plot and technical wizardry, Children of Men is a film rich with profound themes that demand our reflection.
At its very core, this is a story about hope. But it's not a cheap or easy hope. It's a hope that must be fought for, bled for, and protected in a world that has declared it obsolete. The global infertility is a potent metaphor for a society that has lost faith in its own future. Theo's journey is a powerful allegory for the rediscovery of purpose in the face of absolute despair. The film argues that hope is not the absence of suffering, but the will to endure it for the sake of something greater. The film is also a searing political allegory, examining the politics of fear and exclusion. The brutal treatment of refugees and the rise of a police state serve as a stark warning about where the path of nationalism and xenophobia can lead.
By placing these issues in a speculative future, the film forces us to look critically at our present, asking us to consider the moral cost of sacrificing our humanity for a false sense of security. Furthermore, the theme of sacrifice is woven into the very fabric of the narrative. From Julian's death at the beginning to Jasper's final act of defiance, characters repeatedly risk their lives not for personal gain, but for the collective good. These selfless acts stand as a testament to the power of empathy and solidarity in a world that encourages selfishness and division. The story suggests that our true legacy is not what we accumulate, but what we are willing to give up for others. And finally, the film is layered with subtle but powerful religious and mythological symbolism. Key's miraculous pregnancy is a clear parallel to the Nativity story, recasting the narrative in a secular, modern context. The baby's birth, greeted by the awestruck silence of soldiers in the midst of battle, becomes a moment of pure grace, a holy event, suggesting that life itself is the ultimate sacred force, capable of finding a way even when all seems lost.
As we conclude our journey, it becomes clear that Children of Men is far more than just a science fiction thriller. It is a work of staggering artistry, a profound meditation on the human condition, and a powerful call to action. Its gripping narrative, its fully realized characters, and its thought-provoking themes have cemented its place in cinematic history. The film's warnings about where we might be headed are balanced by a fragile, hard-won message that even in the darkest of nights, a single candle can defy the darkness, and the potential for renewal is always within our grasp. And now we turn the conversation over to you. What part of this film's incredible journey left the biggest impression on you? Was it Theo's powerful transformation from a broken man to a reluctant hero? Was it Key's resilience and courage as she carried the future of humanity? Or perhaps it was Jasper's defiant warmth and humor in the face of annihilation? Maybe one of the behind-the-scenes facts, like the creation of the long takes or the real-world inspirations, gave you a new appreciation for the film's craft. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know which character or fact stood out to you and why. Every perspective adds another layer to the legacy of this masterpiece, and your insights are what make this community so special. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Children of Men. Be sure to subscribe for more explorations of the films that shape our world. Until next time, keep watching, keep questioning, and never stop searching for hope.